It is Monday, July 30th. It went longer than it should have gone, but the Giants are victorious 4-3 in 12 innings. This is Giants Roundup on a Monday, on a very late Monday night. You can follow on Twitter, join the group Kite page on Facebook. Most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button. Yes, the Giants do get a win, and they definitely get a lot of help tonight from the three teams that are above them in the division, as all three teams ahead of them lose tonight. The Giants do improve to get back to 500 at 54-54 on the season. And the Friars have dropped their fifth straight game. They fall to 42-67 on the season. And it started off with a Chase Darnod home run to deep left. It scores Brandon Crawford. It scores Austin Slater. 3-0 Giants. Then in the bottom of the fourth, Hunter Renfroe hits one to deep center. It's gone 3-1. Bottom of the fifth, Margot sacrifices to deep left. It scores Hedges on an error by Gorkis Hernandez 3-2. And then, yes, we all hold our breath as Mark Melanson, and this is this was the poor decision tonight that Bruce Bochy got away with. Melanson comes in, gives up an earned run in the bottom of the eighth inning. The game is tied off a double by Villanueva that scores Eric Hosmer. It is 3-all. But the rest of the bullpen was excellent tonight. Reyes Maranta, Ray Black, 1 2/3 scoreless innings. Tony Watson, 1/3 of its scoreless innings. Sam Dyson, he was wildly effective. I thought he would blow the game, but nah. And then Will Smith gets 4 outs tonight to get the save. Then in the 12th inning, redemption by Gorkis Hernandez. He hits a home run to left. It's 4-3, and that one went to the second deck. Very big man's home run by Gorkis Hernandez. And then Buster hits into a fielder's choice. It scores Kelby Tomlinson. 5-3 is your final score. And as I say, the Giants get back to 500 at 54-54, 5.5 games out of the division. And I think they are still 5 games out of the wild card at this point. And as I said, all three, LA, Arizona, and Colorado, all lost tonight. We'll get to that in the MLB Roundup later tonight. And we do have some bad news on Johnny Cueto. He was placed on the 60-day disabled list as the 10-day as of today, likely to hit the 60-day disabled list, and it's the worst fears confirmed for Johnny Cueto. He will be likely going for Tommy John surgery, so you can pretty much kiss the 2019 season goodbye for Johnny Cueto. He will be out at least a year recovering from Tommy John surgery. But I kind of wish they would have done it earlier in the year. That way he could have been back next season instead of having to wait till the 2020 season. And tonight, and also Pablo Sandoval placed on the 10-day disabled list. Tonight's call-ups were Joe Panic was activated from the 10-day disabled list. And yes, our frequent bus rider who's getting a lot of frequent flyer miles this year is back up with the Giants yet again, Kelby Tomlinson. I expect that to be for about a week. And then it's looking like Chris Stratton will slide into the rotation. So that's certainly no surprise there. So Chris Stratton will start at some point. Probably against Arizona. We could see another roster move made soon. And it looks like the Giants are listening to offers for Andrew McCutchen. That's definitely something they need to do in order to even call it, believe it or not. 300 they're 300,000 against the CBT, and they're going to need every single dime for the September call-ups coming up. I really don't expect a lot of September call-ups this year, but there'll be a few. Tyler Rogers will be a September call-up, and then Tyler Rogers will be a September call-up. I doubt Tyler Beatty's coming back for September. Maybe Trevor Brown. Probably Josh Osich, Stephen O'Kurt. But we'll see. But that is good news. So that looks like they're going to shop Andrew McCutchen. Maybe Sam Dyson's another one that's going to be available here. So it's looking like the Giants are actually going to be open to doing some selling, and they're going to need to dump salary anyways to stay below the CBT. So I think they'll just be minor sellers, of course. And at no surprise, Madison Bumgarner will not be available at this year's trade deadline. That could change in the winter, though, depending on where the Giants finish out the season. And then, of course, there's always the waiver wire during the month of August, and you can certainly make waiver trades during the month of August. So there is maybe no rush to move McCutchen by tomorrow, so you can still move him via the waiver wire during the month of August. And then we'll see what happens. I think this is going to be a very active waiver wire deadline this year. And we'll see what trades are made. We do have a lot of trades that happened today. We'll get to them here in a minute. And then earlier today, and then during this game, of course, I've questioned Bochy for bringing Melanson. And this was, and if they had lost, I definitely would have pinned this loss on Bochy. I just don't think Mark Melanson needs to be in high leverage situations right now. Until he can find his rhythm, I think Mark Melanson needs to be in low leverage situations, garbage inning situations, mop up situations. Until Mark Melanson can get his confidence back, he needs to be in the low level situations. And you got better options for the eighth inning. Why didn't you go to Tony Watson in the eighth? Why didn't you go use Reyes Maranta in the eighth or Ray Black? You know, those are questions. I hate it when I question Bochy, but I think this is one where I'd realistically like to see maybe Reyes Maranta get trusted more in the eighth inning role. And certainly Tony Watson's not been his best as of late, so that's something else too. But Will Smith, 6 for 6 in save ops. It's a nice luxury to have him have a good two shutdown closers this season. The question is, what are you going to do with Hunter Strickland when he comes back in September? Well, we'll see if he even gets in a rehab assignment by September or not. But I think maybe with Hunter Strickland, you put him in the eighth inning role or seventh inning role. Those are two situations there, but we'll wait till push comes to shove with Hunter Strickland. Still a long ways, but he is starting to throw. And still, he's going to have to earn his way back into the closer role. But it's going to be very hard to take away that closer job from Will Smith as he's locked it down. Not just for this year, but I think for next year, he's going to be the opening day closer at this rate. And then Gorkis, if you want to redeem yourselves for errors, that's how you do it. Hit a home run. And that's his third hit in 2022 at bats for Gorkis Hernandez. So that's got to feel good. 2 home runs in the past 2 games for Gorkis. So hopefully this can get him out of his cold streak. Andrew McCutchen had a really good night tonight, 3 for 5. And that's what you want to do as you are approaching the trade deadline, is to start looking hot and better. That way you can get your trade value up a skosh. We'll do my buyers or sellers for tonight. It is the Washington Nationals. And I think the Nationals need to sell at this year's deadline. They are 5.5 games back, but I'm not convinced that they're going to contend this year. Even though Philly's starting to leak a bit of oil, you still have Atlanta to contend with. And like the Giants, the Nationals have hovered around 500 most of the year. As much as as much as Washington wants to buy, I think they're starting to face the reality that they're going to have to sell. I don't know if they're going to trade Bryce Harper, but there's other options out there. You could trade Gio Gonzalez. He might bring back a good return. Kelvin Herrera, Ryan Madsen, Daniel Murphy. Those are other alternate options to get you back some prospects and to help you get ready for life after Bryce Harper. And of course, last year, everybody was talking about Bryce Harper getting a $400 million contract. And then after what happened in last year's free agency, I think Bryce Harper may be lucky to get $250 million, maybe even $200 million. I think it could be somewhere closer to $150 to $200 million for Bryce Harper next season. And Bryce Harper was barely hitting over 200 anyways, so but I think Washington also, they just hopefully they don't go one and done with Dave Martinez. Dave Martinez is a first year manager. I think he's still trying to adjust with the rosters. I certainly think the Nationals should give him another year. And I'm not a fan of Bryce Harper. I really hope the Giants don't get him. He's a bit of a hothead. He's got an ego. I really don't want that ego, but the Giants are going to make a foolish run. And I just don't see Harper's just not a team player, and I just don't think he'd fit the Giants' chemistry. But unfortunately, with Scott Boras, but I just don't see him getting anything. He may barely get above 200 million at this rate. He's barely hitting 220 at this rate, and he'll hit you a lot of bombs, but I'd want somebody who can get that batting average up a skosh. And I've never been a fan of Harper. I don't like him as much as I don't like. I've lost a lot of respect for Hunter Strickland. They're both hotheads. We just don't need another hothead on the roster. And of course, you got Scott Boras, and the days of 300 million contracts, I think, have gone. I think you're going to see a lot more of what happened this last offseason where JD Martinez. That's where I think Machado could get maybe 100 million to 125 million. But a lot of teams just don't want to pay those big money contracts anymore. And it's not collusion. It's GMs getting smart enough to know that they don't want to get caught in money pit contracts. And this could have huge implications on the CBA in 2021. And I totally wouldn't be surprised if we do see a lockout in 2021. And I could see the owners certainly push for a salary cap. And I think baseball could use a salary cap, to be honest. Maybe it's somewhere around $210 million as a salary cap, but have it like the NBA where, you got a lot of player movement and, of course, the luxury tax for the repeat offenders. But I think salary cap baseball's on its way. Teams are just reluctant. The only one who might be worth $300 million when his contract comes due is Mike Trout over there with the Halos. Great guy, great attitude in the clubhouse. He's going to earn every dime of that $300 to $400 million contract. To me, Bryce Harper is nowhere near Mike Trout territory. That's how I feel on that. Let's go to the trades for today. We are going to start off with a dump of a couple bad eggs. The Astros acquire suspended bull closer Roberto Osuna. Ken Giles goes to the Blue Jays with Hector Perez and David Paulino. I think just a change of scenery for both pitchers is good. I'm not a fan of Osuna because of domestic violence, but maybe he can go for some redemption in Houston. And they definitely need a closer in Houston, so we'll see how Osuna handles going to Houston. It could be a good change of scenery for him. It may not, but that's trade number one today. Seattle was busy making a couple trades today. Zach Duke goes to the Mariners for cash considerations. Okay, they get a couple prospects. Chase DeJong and Ryan Costello goes to Minnesota in that trade. And then they were busy making another trade with the New York Yankees. And the Mariners acquire Adam Warren, who will probably start for the Mariners for international bonus, for international pool money and cash considerations. And then the Yankees make a trade right after that. Lance Lynn goes to the Yankees for first baseman outfielder Tyler Austin and Luis Rijo. And it looks like Lance Lynn will be the swingman in the Yankees rotation, as he will likely pitch out of the bullpen. And he does have some postseason experience. So he could be a number 5 starter or a long reliever. So that was a good move. The Twins got something for Lance Lynn, so good trade there. Then Atlanta makes a trade earlier tonight. Adam Duvall goes to the Braves for Lucas Sims, Matt Whistler, and Preston Tucker. And it looks like it's just a dump of unwanted players in this one. And certainly Duvall could bring some pop to Cobb County, and Ender Inciarte has been struggling as of late. And then they could put Inciarte more for a bench role. And Duvall could be seen as a replacement for Nick Markakis, as he's heading for free agency this offseason in Atlanta. So just a swap of unwanted players in that trade. And then earlier tonight during the game, Ian Kinsler is traded to the Boston Red Sox for Williams Jerez and Ty Buttrey. And I think the Halos are happy to be rid of Ian Kinsler. He didn't do great in the OC. So maybe a change of scenery. He can maybe hit some bombs at Fenway, finish his career at Fenway, and that gives them a proven commodity at second base for the Red Sox. And then this trade just happened recently. The Pirates acquire Keone Kela from the Texas Rangers. It looks like two prospects are going back to Pittsburgh, and he'll probably go in the eighth inning role, and then probably that means former Giant Kyle Crick will be in the seventh inning role for the Pirates. So it looks like the Pirates are going for it this year. Smart move by Pittsburgh. It looks like Taylor Hearn and two players to be named later in that trade. And then we'll be on air tomorrow with a special. I normally don't do Giants Roundup on games that are weekday matinee, but tomorrow will be the exception, since tomorrow is the trade deadline, and there will certainly be a lot of trades being made between now and 1 o'clock, which is the trade deadline time. Let's go to the MLB Roundup for tonight. The Braves beat the Marlins 5-3, taking the win, Julio Teheran. Taking the loss, Yi Chen. Johan Camargo goes 2 for 3 for Atlanta. In Minnesota, the Twins beat the Indians 5-4, taking the win. Fernando Rodney taking the loss, former Giant Neil Ramirez. Miguel Sano 2 for 3 in his triumphant return to Minnesota. So it looks like he brought his bat with him with a double tonight. Jose Ramirez 2 home runs for the Tribe. He has 32 home runs on the year. He's tied with just dingers JD Martinez. And Irvin Santana not great in his return, for 4 earned and 5 and a third innings pitched. In St. Louis, the Cardinals beat the Rockies 5-4, taking the win. In his major league debut for the St. Louis Cardinals, Dakota Hudson taking the loss, Jake McGee, an earned run and 1 and a third innings pitched. Matt Carpenter goes 3 for 4. Jed Jerko 2 for 3 for the Cardinals. And for Colorado, Garrett Hampson goes 2 for 3. Nolan Arenado with his 28th home run on the year. Carlos Martinez leaves the game early with an injury, and that has to be scary. There are 9 strikeouts for Martinez. And also Daniel Ponce de Leon comes in and allows 2 earned and 2 and a third innings pitched. In the desert tonight, the Rangers beat the D-backs 9-5, taking the win. In his Rangers debut, Eddie Butler taking the loss, Matt Andriese. 3 earned runs and 2 innings pitched. Not a good night for Andriese. Robbie Ray not great tonight either. Walks 4 and 5 and a third innings pitched. And then Matt Moore gives up an earned run and 2/3 of an inning pitched for Texas. I'm kind of surprised Matt Moore hasn't been DFA'd as of yet. In LA, the LA Dodgers lose to the Brewers 5-2. Taking the win is Josh Hader. Taking the loss, Kentai Maeda. 4 and a third earned runs. 4 and 2/3 innings pitched. 4 earned runs. Travis Shaw goes 3 for 4 for the Brewers. Eric Thames with his 14th home run on the year. Manny Machado hit the second home run of the year for the Dodgers. Freddie Peralta walks 4 and 4 innings pitched for the Brewers. And on the other side of I-80 tonight, the A's clobber the Blue Jays 10-1, taking the win. Edwin Jackson, 5 2/3 scoreless innings. Marco Estrada, a rude return to Toronto tonight. 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. Not exactly the showcase you're looking. If you're looking to get traded, I think Estrada will be more of a candidate now for the waiver trade deadline. Jaime Garcia, 6 runs, 5 earned in 1 1/3 innings pitched for Toronto tonight. In Seattle, the Mariners blank the Astros 2-0. The Astros have now lost 6 games in a row. James Paxton, 7 scoreless innings, strikes out 8. Garrett Cole strikes out 8 in 6 2/3 innings pitched. Just did not get any run support tonight, as the Astros muster only 4 hits in a very hurt lineup right now for the Astros. And in 13 innings tonight, the Red Sox beat the Phillies 2-1. Taking the win, Hector Velázquez. Taking the loss, Austin Davis. And David, the price was right for Davey tonight. 8 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Aaron Nola, very similar numbers. And just tough luck by Austin Davis. Tonight, down on the farm, the River Cats get clobbered by the Iowa Cubs 8-1. Trey Martin goes 2 for 3 for the Iowa Cubs tonight. Chris Shaw providing the offense, and Trevor Brown. Trevor Brown 2 for 3. Chris Shaw goes 2 for 4, hits his 22nd home run of the year. Daniel Camarena, 6 earned in 3 innings pitched. Could head back down to Double-A after tonight's start. And Tyler Beatty, an earned run without recording an out. We'll see if Camarena gets sent back to Richmond tomorrow. That's not exactly good numbers and could earn you a trip back to Double-A. And in Fresno tonight, the Grizzlies beat the Storm Chasers 5-3, taking the win. Josh James, 3 earned in 6 1/3 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. Riley Farrell gets the save for the Grizzlies. Taylor Jones, 2 for 3. Jamie Ritchie, 2 for 4. And now the playoff push is about to begin in the PCL, as we are getting into the month of August. And in the PCL, the playoffs begin in the first week of September or so. Second week of September is usually when PCL playoffs begin. And it's looking like the Fresno Grizzlies are going to be coasting into the AAA playoffs at this point. With the River Cats, hopefully the Giants can get back some good prospects back for whoever ends up trading for Andrew McCutchen or Sam Dyson. Whoever can start improving the farm system. I'm tired of these last place finishes every year for the. I would love to see the Battle of 99 become competitive again, but we'll see what happens, as the Grizzlies will likely become the Brewers affiliate next year. This is going to conclude tonight's show. We'll be back on tomorrow at 4 o'clock. We'll be probably talking about many, many trades tomorrow. And hopefully we can get a quick sweep out of San Diego before they head to the desert to play the Snakes. Good night, everybody.